Why are we applauding ourselves? Stan, why are we applauding ourselves?
Because we're good people.
No, because we've been here. Stan's been here for about an hour and a half, maybe. I've been here for about 4 hours just to get this working.
Oh, yeah.
So, so we are live and we are working and we are here at Imperial Cigars in Sugarland, where I'm a private club member. And this is our club here. So, welcome to the show.
Hey, how did you get the setup so quickly, Joseph?
I've been here for 5 hours. Hey, so here we are, Fix or Flop podcast. This is technically episode 3.
3. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we didn't broadcast yet episode 2 because that was when Anthony was here and there was an echo, and so we were trying to work out the echo. I don't know, how does it sound to you guys? Let us know how it sounds if you do hear an echo. But it sounds pretty decent in my ear. I do hear a lot of fuzz going in the background, but that could simply be because all the fans that breathe out the smoke in the cigar lounge. But how does it sound to you?
It sounds good, but we can definitely fix it later in OBS and then have a filter. Right after.
Really?
Yeah, you can do that in OBS, I'm pretty sure, before we stream.
Well, that's pretty cool. So, Stan, could you just tell a little bit about how you joined Castle Group Mortgage, and tell them how we met, how you joined Castle Group Mortgage for a few minutes? I'm going to see if I can add a filter while you're doing that to take out some of the fans in the background.
Okay.
But just let them know. Let's hear it for Stan. No, that's the wrong one. Sorry. There we go. Let's hear it for Stan.
Yeah,
My bad.
That was my punchline right there.
All right, it's on you, sir.
Wow, it goes way back, actually. A little bit over 6 months now, right, Joseph? It was.
I think it's been more than 6 months.
Yeah, way more than 6 months.
Yeah.
It started in the UPS store, actually. And really, I was just working 6 hours a day. Sometimes, if I had to, 11 hours. My schedule was okay, but really, I asked a lot of questions. Like, I asked everybody questions. I didn't really know what I really wanted to do. I was in college, University of Houston. I wanted to do CIS, Computer Information Systems. I'm still in university right now, actually. But one day changed a lot. And it was a big change, and to this day, it's still a big change, and a lot of things are happening to me right now. Joseph actually just came in one day as a customer for the UPS store, and he was looking for a printout for one of the properties that his realtor was selling, and he was the loan officer for. I think it was an open house, right, Joseph, with Stephanie?
Yeah, that's right. It was an open house with Stephanie. Yeah.
And then,
unfortunately, she's never sent me any business after all those beautiful flyers that I made for her.
Oh man, yeah.
But that's some mortgage tips. We'll give you some mortgage tips.
Yeah, for sure. And I was just curious, so I just asked Joseph what he was doing and what's the line of business. How do you get into it? And he told me pretty much a good synopsis of the whole loan officer business. And I was really interested because at the time I didn't really know what to do. Money was okay. It wasn't very good. I was making more or less $250 a week, maybe even less than that, actually. And I had this incentive. I was really happy whenever I got a $1 incentive. Every time I did a package, did data entry for the package, put in their information, put in their shipping address, depending on the type of shipment it was, you would get an incentive. And it would range anywhere from, I think it was less than 50 cents to $1 at the highest, or $2 at the highest. Yeah. And I was happy with that. Whenever I got my incentive at the end of the month, it would be $50, $60 extra, right? Because we would always have customers
for that $1.
Yeah. So it wasn't horrible, but at the same time, I really wanted to do more, and that's why I asked Joseph. He was like, he just came in. I was like, whoa, what is this guy doing? What does he do? What business does he do? And he had Alex there, one of his employees.
Yeah.
He's still in the business now. He's still great friends with Alex, right? Joseph?
Yeah. We're just on the phone today with his new application.
Oh, that's great. Still doing loans, and he's doing great now. He's doing great. But yeah, I was introduced with that, and Joseph really gave me a decision. Right? He told me about the business, and he really gave me a decision. And at the time, it was very quick. I honestly didn't know why. Like, was I qualified for this at the time? I didn't know if I was qualified. But he gave me the chance and asked to join, and I just said yes. I said, okay, let's do it. I was very skeptical at first. I didn't know who Joseph was. I really didn't know who you were. But you were really nice.
I think you're still figuring it out.
Yeah. Joseph was really nice to me. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And let's see where God leads me, right? And here I am today, helping out Joseph. In some parts in the back end, I closed 2 loans recently.
Yeah.
Last year actually, and I'm still trying to build up a network. Really, still trying to build up my rapport, clientele, trying to get people to know me.
But being young, you have to kind of overcome some of the age things, which I know. Like obviously, our friend in the insurance business,
Patrick. He
really overcomes that, right?
He really does. He's 25,
and it's part of just the way he carries himself and dresses, But you guys both have the same speech. You both speak with authority, But the way he cuts his hair and everything is like a grown businessman.
Yes,
like
right. Very different.
His style of dress and hair is like a grown businessman. You know?
I'm still trying to get up so I can buy all those clothes.
Yeah, you got to.
I'm still trying to.
But the point is you have some things as a young person that you have to overcome. I have things I have to overcome, as an overweight person.
Right.
Being overweight, people would come up with some preconceived ideas, maybe turned off. So I have to overcome things. But, a lot of us have to overcome things.
Yeah.
Unless you're Leonardo DiCaprio or something. You know what I mean?
He's been at it for years.
Yeah, but you have to overcome some things. So it's interesting. Recently, you've taken over a new role, which is kind of going to help you compensate your income until you grow into your customer database. But at the same time, it's going to make you a real pro on the whole back end of the operation.
Exactly.
So you want to tell them a little bit about what you're doing now? In addition, obviously, you're writing loans, but also you're taking on more responsibility. What are some of the things you're doing now?
Right now, I've been really...
I think so many things.
Yeah, so many things. Really, it's catching up with all these emails, right? Catching up with all the tasks that I have to do that Joseph assigns me to. And the biggest thing is the biggest project that I have with Anthony, onboarding project, website project. We're trying to revitalize the Castle Group Mortgage website and just online presence, right? And recently, last year, I've been doing a lot of your TikTok videos as well.
Oh, yeah.
TikTok has been taking down, and that really,
Is that why we've not been filming lately?
Yeah, that's why. What am I supposed to post now?
Instagram. We still got Instagram.
Oh, Instagram works too, yeah. But yes, so I've been helping a lot of Joey with that. I'm a loan officer assistant, right? So I do a lot of data entry in the back end. Reply to Joseph, Katrina, the team member, set up schedules, and it's been really a learning experience because I get to know terms that I didn't really use before, right? Katrina would come in and tell me all these different terms, and I would have to research myself.
It sounds like people are speaking Chinese.
Yeah.
When you're a new loan officer, there's all these terms thrown around.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just like, what the heck are they talking about? But it's good to hear it.
Yeah.
Because when you hear it, your ear gets more and more comfortable with these terms, and you begin to understand them.
Exactly. Yes, and especially when it comes to business, how to speak professionally, how to email professionally. All this really matters when I'm becoming my own entrepreneur. If I open my own brokerage, right, under Joey, right. Yeah. So it would really expand to that. Like the more experience I have. From the fundamentals, I know Joseph, you had to go through a lot of fundamentals to get to this point. Yeah, it is not a one-cut situation. You really had to go in there. And another thing, if you don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. That is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. So
that's the biggest
that's
thing
the
to
biggest
learn.
thing, right?
Yeah, that is so powerful because it sounds simple, but it's like no activity, no output.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
That's it. That's all it is.
You put in activity, things you jump things up. Like you could jump things up, you know, in any sales business, right? Even if you're doing the insurance. If you're doing the insurance, but the difference between the insurance business, which we're both licensed in the insurance industry, but the difference in the insurance industry and our industry is that people are looking for money.
Exactly.
So we provide money. What do? We offer money. Well, who doesn't need money? Who doesn't want money? Everybody needs money. So we don't have to get a sale. Where insurance, you're offering them money in the future, but in the meantime, you give us your money now. It's a harder sell. Now, of course, life insurance is worth it. It's fantastic.
It's a great business.
But it's just a harder sell. But being in the mortgage industry is an easier sell because people need money.
Right.
You know. So we just have to let people know that we're out there and that we're capable and we're competent, you know. So right now, Stanley is a loan officer, but he is a non-TRID loan officer. So non-TRID means non-owner occupied. So he can do loans that are investment properties, fix and flip, these type of things, right? And he's going to be licensed very soon after he takes the test again.
Yes.
like Anthony. Anthony's going to take it again soon. You failed twice, right?
Yeah.
Anthony failed twice.
Anthony failed twice,
I think once or twice. But
it's a hard
Anthony
test.
And you got to pass this time.
Yes.
If you don't, it's not the end of the world. Don't get depressed.
Yes,
don't stay in bed for 3 weeks. Because you can still do loans as a non-TRID loan officer with our company, right? But if you do get it, great, because then you could kind of expand
to residential.
But which is better, residential, or if you're a loan officer, what's the better kind of client to have in your opinion? Then I'll tell you. This is a test question. Is it going to be the one-time home buyer that's just buying one house that you have to have all the licenses for, or is it going to be a non-TRID loan officer who's going to be working with investors who are buying 5-10 homes a year? Which do you think is better as an originator?
And even commercial properties, I know that for sure, right? Well, really, when I originally thought of it, you would think commercial properties, right? You would think these investors and these big shots, but the problem is, how do you get into this circle?
Yeah.
Right? With residential, it is much easier to get in that circle. It's family members, right? You talk to family.
Yeah, true, yeah.
I mean, that's how my first loan was. It was my family member. Yeah, it was my family member. But for a VIP personnel, it really matters how you carry yourself, like how you look. And Joseph, you got the mafia boss look, right? I still have the young fish out of the barrel type look. But I'm still trying to build that confidence every day.
Yeah.
So for me, when I get my license, residential for me is the way to go, temporarily until I build up that rapport, just like you did. You didn't start off with VIP business investment property owners, right, Joseph?
No. I started off with like cousins, aunts, uncles, and they really wouldn't give me their loans. They didn't trust me, but they would refer me. You know, they give a dog a bone. You know, refer me to a friend that maybe wanted a loan or something like that. Those are my first deals.
Right.
We're like friends and family, and I think after that I started working with a good friend of mine named Lorenzo, and he started doing some kind of like wholesaling, finding people who are wanting to get out of their house, foreclosed, maybe divorced, or maybe widowed. And he would help them get out of their house. So, and just move on with their life, whatever, get rid of that big mortgage. So he would wholesale houses, and I started working with him. So I started getting leads with him too, you know. But yeah, I didn't have like businessmen and entrepreneurs coming to me for loans when I was
starting off
in my mid-20s, starting off. No, yeah. So I can see that. But I think that you being a loan officer assistant and a loan officer, you could pick up some loans here and there. But now, as my assistant, you're also making some more money, you know. And we got a couple closes this week, and be paid on those, you know. So I think that it gives you some room and time to grow.
Yes, for sure.
Until you know, learn how to market yourself as a professional. Like our friend is like 22 years old, but when you're meeting with him, you think you're talking to a 30-year-old businessman, right?
Yes,
yeah, Patrick.
I want to be as witty as possible, right? That's the biggest key.
Yeah, but you are sharp. No, you're very sharp. He's
really
very
appreciate
sharp,
that,
you know.
Joseph.
So, you know, I think it's just a great opportunity now. And you're also in school too. And now your workload this semester is 1 day a week.
Yeah, 1 day a week. I was able to organize all my classes to 1 day. Yeah,
That's incredible.
I signed up early just for that.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. I signed up early
That's
just
smart.
for that, so I can have everything in 1 day. I finish all my homework and I just continue on prospecting and then helping you out with all the loans.
Yeah, so before I had Christina working with me as our communications director, but now she's got a full workload at school. But in some ways, you bring something different to it because you actually have done loans and you know loans. She didn't know anything about loans.
I see.
She just knows how to do whatever you tell her to do, she figures it out.
Administrative, right?
Administrative stuff. But you know the back end too of loans, you know, so in some ways, you know, it'll be more powerful.
Yeah,
you know?
because I studied the pre-licensing course and I studied just all the terms in general.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
true.
a lot of the terms already. So when I do the back end, I know some and I learn some more. That's all it is.
It's a good point. And those of you who are watching at any time, if you have a question or a comment, you could question. I'm watching the chat. You could put in a question. We'd love to answer your questions because the truth is, through our testing, our exams, and our studies, and then the real work life, there's so much information. You know, it takes years to learn. And so the average person that wants to do a fix and flip, buy a first-time home, or even buy their second and third home, there's so many things they don't know. There's realtors that call me all the time, and they say, you know, tell me about this and that, and I blah, 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 blah. And don't you need this much down payment? And don't the FHA allow this? And they feel like they know it all
Oh, yes.
because they've been a realtor for 20, 30, 40 years. And so they just assume they know everything because they learned something 7 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago. They don't understand that in the loan industry, regulations and rules are constantly changing every few weeks.
All
And
the
just
time.
because your loan officer friend told you that X amount of dollars is good for a gift from a relative doesn't mean that that's allowed today, or doesn't mean that that amount is allowed today. It's always changing. So, you know, let a realtor be a realtor, let a loan officer be a loan officer. But there's a lot of information and it's constantly changing. It's always coming at you. So as a loan officer, we have a lot of value and a lot of knowledge that buyers need. And so when someone wants to buy a house, the first thing they should do is they should talk to a loan officer, understand as much as possible, ask as many questions as possible, get approved. Then you talk to your realtor. Don't let your realtor try and double agent, you know, as a non-licensed loan officer, because they don't know the industry as those who are. That's all we do day and night.
And we're required by law to give them a checklist, a book, a charm booklet, correct? So they know what they're getting into when they're purchasing, when they're trying to get a mortgage in a house. Because really, you're leveraging the bank's money. And you have to know how and why and how, all the inputs of why you're able to loan this money, right? Collateral, down payment, interest rates. It will explain
Risks.
that all to you. Risks, yes.
Yeah, that's a big part
Especially
of the charm
risks.
booklet is what's the risk and what if you default and
Exactly.
you know, all these things.
Yeah. If Joe and I were realtors and loan officers, we would go insane.
Oh yeah.
We would go insane.
And I have a one of our loan officers is a realtor, and
I'm not, right?
yeah, and it's very hard for her. She's got the license. She's with us. She hasn't done a loan yet because she's so busy doing real estate. You know, so, and we have another person actually with us, Mimi. Mimi is also a realtor and a loan officer. So let's see how she does, but it's really hard. Few people can do it successfully because there's so much on the loan side. And realtors don't understand it. It really gets get, like one guy left me an email last week. Some nasty email. He's like, I trusted you because of the way he worded it was like, I know you and I know you're very good. That's why I trusted you, but I need my clear to close. I never met this guy in my life.
Wow.
So I emailed him back. I said, you know me. How do you know me? I don't know who you are. What do you mean? And then I called him up and I said, what's this bullcrap email you're sending out how you know me and you trust me and I'm, failing your trust? What are you talking about? He said, oh, well, I just thought I should put a little pressure on you to make it move. I said, well, you thought wrong. I said, this purchase needs a condo questionnaire. The condo questionnaire was ordered 3 weeks ago on a rush, and it's not going to be here to the 6th. That's the date they gave us. And I told you that in 5-6 emails. And I said, so you could push me and talk trash and send emails out and say that you trusted me, you thought I was great, blah, 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 and I was really good, but I'm dropping the ball now. All that bull crap. And the fact is, the condo questionnaire doesn't come in till Friday. So, so you're trying to throw me under the bus by thinking you're going to pressure me. So then he's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Well, I just, wanted more communication. I said, I should email 3 times a day. What do you need more communication?
Right.
Then we get through that, condo questionnaire comes in, and he says something like, oh, okay, now, could we close now? And I said, once the condo questionnaire or any document comes in, there's a turn time for the bank to look at it and go through it. Thank God this bank we're using has a 24-hour turn time.
Quick.
Other banks I've worked with, sometimes they have a 3-day turn time. And sometimes, a lot of times, that depends on the volume. If it's peak season, turn times are going to go from 1 day to 2 days to 3 days. So you could be waiting 3 days per document uploaded. So I said, we have to wait 24-hour turn time. That turn time will be Monday. He said, well, then what day should we extend the contract then? And I said, well, I would just extend it out to Friday. And if we could close Wednesday or Thursday, that's great. But just put it for Friday. He said, this is what he said. That's why I told the story. Okay. Because he said, no. He said, I want to put it as early as possible so to pressure the bank to move faster. Now, this guy is a realtor that supposedly has award-winning this, award-winning that under his email. He is a big award winner, top producer. And I'm like, listen, man, if that makes you feel better, go ahead and we'll exit extension Monday, we'll exit extension Tuesday, we'll exit extension Thursday, and we'll just extend it every single day if that makes you feel better. But the bank don't give a rip. Their underwriters and their system is not going to expedite and move faster just because you put an earlier date on it. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
And this guy's been in real estate, is a big realtor, sells a lot of houses, but you're not a loan officer and you're not in banking. You don't know how it works.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to have to get an extension every day. Then I upload that. Then that takes 24 hours to clear. Then you're back waiting another day.
Yep.
Just put it out as long as you can get the seller to accept, and we'll close as soon as possible. My check's on the line, your check's on the line, everyone's check's on the line. Nobody's trying to delay. But a lot of times realtors think that the loan officer is trying to delay, or the loan officer is in the cigar lounge smoking a cigar.
This doesn't count.
That may be true.
We're off hours. We are not in office hours.
Yeah, it is past hours.
Yeah.
That may be true. They might be in the cigar lounge, but that's because everything has been uploaded, turned in, and there's nothing else that can expedite it. You have to wait for the bank's turn time.
That's not with Castle Group Mortgage. We have white glove service. We're always like this.
Yeah.
Every time.
We're on top of it. And we got KGB. She is our processor.
Yeah, Miss Katrina. She's great. She's awesome.
She's a beast. Now, people might get frustrated with her because they send us some of their paperwork. Half the page is cut off, the date's cut off, one page is missing. She's going to be on top of it. She's going to say, hey, listen, resend it. You're missing the page. They send it again, and now half the page is cut off. She said, resend it. Half the page is cut off. Let's send a screenshot of their bank statement. She said, resend it. The bank don't accept screenshots. You want bank? And people are like, Yeah. People get frustrated, but she's making sure that it's done right because the bank's going to reject it.
any mistake, any problem, it will just be another condition. And she's great at solving these conditions and explaining it in the best terminology. She only really tells us what she needs, and we deliver. That is what I love about Katrina.
Yeah, we got quite a few people that just had loans that couldn't get approved, shouldn't get approved, so to speak, because of this or that. And we've been able to say, well, can you get in, like we've been able to figure out ways, especially Katrina, one person I gave up on, because she was like, I won't give up on them when she got them in. But this person was like, they were told in the beginning of the loan they have to have 2 months payments and savings to get approved, and they didn't do it. Every check they got, they just spent it on some tequila at the liquor store or something.
Sheesh.
And they didn't came the time to close. They had no money in their bank.
Sheesh.
So, we managed to kind of move things around. And how about this? How about that? I mean, one time I had one buyer take their gold coins, DVD player, different things around the house, take it to the pawn shop.
Oh my gosh.
Pawn their stuff, get the money, put it in the bank, get the clear to close, buy the house, go back to the pawn shop and repurchase their stuff.
I remember you told me something about this, Joseph. When it comes to clear to close, when they're at the finish line and there's just a little extra on that, the final CD, they will find a way to get that money. They will, right?
Yeah,
it's important
absolutely.
to them.
I mean, you're talking about moving from an apartment to a house or
of
from,
course.
a small home to your dream home,
They're gonna
And
do
we
it.
had that talk with one of our loan officers and one of our co-hosts, Anthony. He's like, they don't have the money. They just don't have it. Trust me, they don't have it. And it was like, it wasn't much. It was like $3,000 more. And I'm like, trust me. Let's just get them to closing. They will find the money. He said, but they don't have it. But they don't have it.
I understand his frustration.
They don't have it. And I said, they will find it. He's like, what about they don't have that? You don't understand. They do not have it. There we go. That's what I wanted. Yeah, they do not have it. So he's like, they don't have it. And I'm like, they will find it. Sure enough. She's like, oh, okay, well, we need to close tomorrow. We need $3,000 more. All right, well, yeah, I have some money over here in my piggy bank, whatever. I'll get it.
Look at that.
And then he come back and said, I'm so sorry, Joe. You're right. They had it.
And this is after we give them a lot of discounts. We help.
My
Yes,
God. We gave them everything we possibly can. Credits and all kinds of things,
tax credits, everything.
Yeah, it's seller credits, lender credits, tax credits, seller concessions, everything,
Yeah, and that's just how it is. And I understand his frustration, and I understand the client.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be a what's that called? The tape at the finish line, right?
Yes.
What do you want to cut it with, right?
Yeah,
do you want to cut it with
yeah.
dull scissors, or do you want to cut it with actual like sharp scissors?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What's gonna get you to the end?
Exactly. So, anyways, do we have any questions? I know you always come up with these good questions.
I do have a few questions.
And
Joseph.
Stan just comes up with these great questions that are always thought provoking, and really a great conversation pieces. So you were surprising with them. You're like, by the way, before we end, can I ask these questions?
Yes.
And then they're like amazing questions.
Yeah. So this is Stanley questionnaire time. I'm gonna ask probably 5 or 6 questions.
We need to have a little logo that pops up with your image and like Stanley.
Some music.
Stanley questionnaire time.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay. Well, here's the first question, Joseph. Not too bad. What is the worst mortgage mistake that can ruin an investment?
The worst mortgage mistake that could ruin an investment. That's something to think about. The worst mortgage mistake that could ruin an investment. So give me a scenario. Like somebody is trying to buy a house.
They're trying to purchase a house. Oh, let's say they already purchased a house, right? And then they want to cash out refinance because they need cash. But the rates are really high, right?
Yeah.
Would you want them to go ahead and just get the cash out refinance because they really need that cash, but they get like a 9% rate from their 6%? Or what would you do, Joseph? What's their option right there?
If it's just all depends on the profit margin on the other side, right? So if I get a HELOC for 9% and I could take that money I could purchase a fix and flip, fix it up, put it back on the market, sell it within 6 months, 7 months. Yeah, I paid 9% interest for that money, but I sold it and made 50 grand, 60 grand. So maybe I paid $6 grand in interest or $8 grand in interest, but I made 40 grand. So, was it worth it? Absolutely. Now, if I'm going to take out $50,000 on 9% interest and buy Bitcoin,
Oh no, that's horrible.
well, that might be
maybe back in the day,
that might be
Joseph.
a bad idea.
Maybe back in the day.
Well, yeah, but it's Bitcoin is such a variable.
It's such a variable.
The play on Bitcoin is a long-term play.
It really is a long
If you try and play the
short term, 1 month.
I mean,
yeah.
I've lost thousands of dollars in Bitcoin
Sheesh.
short-term game. Now I'm in it for the long game. The money I
Right.
put in Bitcoin, I'm just leaving in there, and I'm just not going to think about it for 10 years.
Right. I think one of the worst things that you can do is get money out of the mortgage and put it on a down payment on a luxury car. What do you
Well,
what do you think,
it
Joseph?
depends. If the bank is offering you 16% interest
Mm-hmm.
on that car, and you could get a HELOC at 9% or 8%, it's going to be a lot better financially to get the HELOC.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. That makes sense.
So just, it depends on what you're trying to do with it. Is it going to save you money paying that 8%, 9%, whatever?
Right. Another question, Joseph. Tell me.
How about this question?
Go ahead.
Why are rates so high often on the HELOC?
I'm not sure, Joseph. Why?
Well, think about it. The bank makes their money off lending money. Or a lot of the banks we work with are just lenders. They're not depository accounts, institutions. They're just lending banks. Well, they make the money off a loan. So if I have a loan for $500,000 and I have a loan for $50,000, which one is going to make more money?
The 100,000, right?
The $500,000.
500,000. Sorry.
Yeah, 6% at $500,000 or 6% $50,000. I'm not going to make the 6%. I'm not going to make any money off that $50,000. So because the loan amount is so small, the interest earned is going to be not even worth the time it takes to lend it. So they give a higher rate to try and compensate and make a little money off of the money that they're going to lend you, because that loan amount is so small.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, because why would they lend out money for such a low interest rate anyway? Yeah, 1%. Let's say they have a 1% interest rate. No one's gonna do that. It's not beneficial for the bank. And they're taking a
they're in
risk.
business to make money.
They're taking a risk. Either way, they're taking a risk.
Oh yeah, and then they're eating the risk.
Right.
So they got to make money, and then they're taking risk, and then X amount of people do foreclose, so they lose their money. So they need to make enough to compensate from
Right,
that, know. And then, of course, all the lenders' rates are based upon the Treasury note rates, and so there's a margin there that they have to make a little bit over that,
Right.
Because they're going to sell these loans. So
Secondary market, right?
Yeah, they're going to sell these loans, so they need to make a profit margin in between.
I see. I've always wondered for quick and easy loans, where do they get the money from? I mean, why would they risk their own money for like just a random person like that?
You mean like a quick and
yeah.
an easy loan?
Yeah, like so I know
Like
this
a hard
is
money loan.
not a hard money. I know this is not in the mortgage on the mortgage side, but it's a personal loan. I've always wondered
those,
that.
like,
Yeah,
little-
those personal
Those
loans.
little storefronts that
Yeah,
do
they
like.
say quick and easy loans.
Oh, okay.
What's the big one?
I never been to one of those.
Never been to one of those, right?
But I know what you're talking about. I see them in the hood. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've always wondered how they make
the
their
money?
Yes.
Oh, they're super high interest.
super high interest.
Oh,
right?
they're a ripoff. You know what else is a ripoff? There's a new thing now that anywhere you try and buy something, they offer you to. I forgot the name of it, but they offer you to buy it on credit.
What's it called?
I don't know, but now anytime you try and buy something, MacBook, iPhone, whatever you're trying to buy, they're always offering you to buy it on credit.
Oh, I like Afterpay.
It's like Afterpay.
It's like Afterpay, right? Oh,
That's what it's
the-
Afterpay. That's another big ripoff. And so many people fall for that.
You know, it's kind of crazy. A lot of Americans, I don't know how we were sold into being in debt for like student loans and and cars and just in general, just being inside of debt, right? A mortgage I can understand, right? That's a big purchase. But for all these small things like credit cards and, credit card debt, there's so many tools to fix credit card debt, but there's no one telling people to prevent credit card debt. Why is that? Why is that, Joseph? I'm just
the only
curious.
guy is Dave Ramsey's.
Yeah.
You ever heard of Dave Ramsey's?
I've heard about him, yes.
Dave Ramsey is a Christian guy that has a podcast on getting out of debt and stuff, So Dave Ramsey does that. He talks about it. But yeah, I mean, there's so much business made on
Right.
instant gratification, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we live in an instant gratification society. We want it now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm guilty of that too. My wife's always like, wait a little bit. I just bought an iPhone 16. My 13 worked great. I don't know why I bought that 16. There was no reason for me to buy the 16. The camera is a little bit better. It's a little clear.
It's nice.
That was part of my motivation,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, in America, we want better, bigger, faster. That's how American society is.
Yeah.
And lots of money is made off that greed, that lust.
That's true.
A lot of money is made on that.
That's true.
But if you know how to make money, you can enjoy those things.
That's true.
Without getting debt, if you know how to make money. So I'm really focused on in my mid 40s is how to make money, right? So I'm doing some stock, doing some investments. I chose an industry that you can make a lot of money quickly in this industry, and I love to do some bigger moves. I like to do what Tom is doing, the owner of the cigar lounge. He runs a cigar lounge just for a hobby, but his business is development. He builds buildings, right? Mm-hmm. So you buy a land for 100 grand, you put in another 400,
Mm-hmm.
you rent 500,000, and you sell it for 850. You make $350,000 in one deal.
Sheesh.
In 1 year.
Wow.
You do 2 or 3 of those a year, you're getting close to $1 million of just a couple deals,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not swinging the hammers, of course.
No.
He's just, learn how to, move money around and real estate and,
Right.
So I'm looking at some bigger profit margins like that in the future,
Right.
but I just came back to America for 10 years overseas, so I'm just getting started now,
But Joseph
but
is
the name of the
speeding.
game is make money.
Yeah,
If
the
you can
name
make
of the game.
money, you could have the iPhone 16, you could drive the Mercedes Benz, you could have the bigger home on the lake, you could have a couple cigars a day,
A lot of people say money is the root of all evil. In my
And just so
opinion,
you know, I donate if it's 60%. No, not 60%. It was I donated, I think last year, I think it might have been like 25-30% of
That's
my
pretty good,
income.
Joseph.
I gave a donation to
Wow.
charity.
and I know you have your own church too.
Yeah,
You
so
give
that's
that to-
and that's what I do, is not only just for the cars and the good things and vacations, but also the main reason I do it is for the charity.
So my question was, a lot of people think money is the root of all evil. And I honestly don't think that. I honestly think it's whatever you put the money into or whatever you use the money for. It's the intention behind the money. Because here's the thing, money can get you freedom, right? And I'm not saying money is your key to success. No, it's the reward for it, right? And it's not necessarily something that you should always chase for, but it's definitely something that could add on to your life, because success is character. That's what I think. But what do you think, Joseph? Do you think money is the root of all evil, or do you think otherwise?
Well, let me show you guys, if I could put on the screen. I think that saying comes from the Bible. And let's see here. I'd like to just show it here. Money is the root of all evil. That comes from 1 Timothy chapter 6. I'm not sure what verse here.
See how holy this man is?
Yeah.
Joseph just pulled out a Bible midstream.
6:10. So I'm going to share that on the screen here
Okay.
so people can see it. So how could I show this on the screen? Give me a couple of seconds and you could just, entertain them for a second.
No, I'll try my best. I can stare at them awkwardly. If you can, Joseph.
Oh, there we go. Oh, wait, no. I want to get rid of this eye. Oh, there we go. Okay. So 6:10. We're going to share this with everybody. I found it. There it is, right there. I wonder if I could highlight it. Yeah, it looks like I can highlight. I'm going to highlight it yellow.
Yellow.
All right, so I'm going to screen share this with everybody, and I have a way to do it. So I think I could do. I think it's browser, or Mac screen capture. Here it is.
There we go.
And we're going to choose a window. No, we're going to choose application. Display. That's not it. Screen capture. Maybe there's another one, not screen capture. Browser? No, that's not it. That's definitely not it. I'd like to show them this. So I have it up, but window capture?
You might have to change it to
Or is it application capture?
application capture, and then the browser.
And then dock? No. OBS Studio? No. Control Center? No.
Go ahead and just do Windows, so then that way it captures your whole screen.
Windows. That one there?
Yeah, now it's just your whole screen.
And then OBS Studio Properties to Spotlight.
Yeah, now it's your whole screen. So
So they're going to get my screen?
Yeah.
So if I go here, they're going to get my screen?
Should be. Try minimizing it and then bringing it to OBS to see how it looks.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, there it
It's
is.
your whole screen, yeah.
All right, boom. So, okay, here we go. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Here we go in the Bible. Money is the root of all evil is one of the most quoted scriptures in the world. And this is what it says actually. This is where it comes from. It comes from the Bible. In 1 Timothy chapter 6, it says, "But for those who desire to be rich fall into many temptations." Obviously, if you're very wealthy, you could afford to do designer drugs. You could afford high-priced, prostitution. You could afford to have a secret wife in Mexico while you had one here in Houston.
Mexico.
So
specific, Joseph.
yeah. Also, the temptation of pride to look down on other people.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
To look at people like they're stupid, they're dummies, they're idiots, they're poor trash. The temptation of pride, arrogance, lose compassion. So the scripture says, those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, a trap. A trap is something you don't expect it, right?
Right.
If you saw, you were going to come into a disaster, you would not go there. But a trap is it looks good, and then you get in there and it catches you. So it says they fall into a snare. It's a trap. Into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. So this is the concept behind it.
Right.
So it doesn't say money's the root of all evil, but it says for the love of money.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's about the character.
Is the root of all evil. It's the love of money. Money in itself is just a tool, like a gun, like a knife, like a car,
like a Bible.
like a Bible. A few weeks ago, a guy from Houston drove to New Orleans, and he took his truck and he killed 21 people. The car was just a tool, but he used that tool for bad. So the love of money is the root of all evil, not money. Money is just a tool. Yeah. But when you love money, you'll cheat, you'll lie, you'll steal, you'll kill, you'll connive, you'll rip people off because you love money. So it's really the love of money that boils down to all evils. It's the roots, The root of every sin, crime, war. World War I was basically financed. It was financed by the big banking cartel. They started the war and financed both sides.
I did not know that.
Yeah, World War II, same thing. Every major war like this, it's instigated by people trying to sell arms and get countries into debt to them as they lend them money to build arms and build weapons. Look at the Ukraine war. $60 billion,
A ton of money.
something like that. $60 billion they gave to the Zelensky.
A ton of money.
And yeah, $60 billion to give to Zelensky, and he claims he didn't get most of it. He didn't even got, because Ukraine was used as a slush fund. They were using the Ukraine to get U.S. government money to go to Ukraine, and then it was actually taken out by the politicians and their friends. So they were using Ukraine as a way to juice more money out of the United States.
Wow.
And as a result, hundreds of thousands of Russians and Ukrainians have died.
Wow, I would have
So-
to research more about this, Joseph.
Oh yeah,
That's
this
crazy.
is all fact. So the problem right here is this: the love of money, not money itself. Money can be used for good. So how do you make sure that you don't love money? Give it away.
Charity. Just
Your giving proves that you don't love money. The more generous you are, the more you give, and that's why God commands us to give 10% of our income, is to make sure that our trust is not in our riches, but our trust is in God.
Right.
So that's why Jews, Christians, Muslims, many faiths all around the world, they have a habit of giving a portion of their income to the church, to God, because it prevents and it mitigates and it limits the love of money.
Yeah, the
'Cause
temptation.
You're giving it away.
The
The Bible
temptation.
says, feed the poor, take care of the homeless, take care of the widows, also give your tithes and your offerings. To be a good follower of God, you have to be very generous. And we take someone like Mother Teresa, who gave her whole life. She gave hundreds of millions of dollars to the orphans in India and all around the world, help the poor. But she herself never had anything. She had no love for money. So money was good. She used it for good. She used it to help countless orphans. But money was great for her because she didn't love it.
And I understand there are desperate times, right? There are some people that need money, but that's not necessarily love, right, Joseph? That's just desperation for money. How do you explain that? Like, there are some people that rob, cheat, steal because of their environment and their situation. What's your opinion on that?
My opinion on that is that is the love of money. Why? Because if you go to Africa, and we have a lot of ministry in Africa. We do a lot of missions work in Africa. We dig wells for the people to drink. We help, the orphan kids in Africa.
That's amazing.
And Anthony has a big project in Africa with us,
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's been building wells in Africa for 20 years. The people that are dying of not clean water, he builds wells there. And when you go to Africa, you find the happiest people in the world. One of my friends from Botswana, she came to America, and her roommate from Africa was there. And her roommate came back to the room and said, "Hey, what's depression?" She said, "I don't know. What is that?" She said, "I don't know. One of my classmates at the Oral Roberts University said that they're feeling depressed. I don't even know what that is. What is depression?" And said, they had to look it up. These are college kids. They had to look up what depression is because in Africa, they don't have a depression.
No, that's
they
the
don't
last
have
thing.
a thought like depression.
That's their last thing on their mind. Joseph.
They could live in a grass hut village, barely eating skin and bones, and they're happy. And you show up and they're dancing, they're singing, they do a performance for you, and they're happy and they have families. The poverty doesn't make you happy or sad. It's when you start to lust for more. And you begin to grow discontent with what you have because of you love money. You could love money and be poor. You could love money and be broke, right? So now we have people stealing or robbing, maybe robbing a gas station or whatever on the lower level in the ghettos, doing crime for money. And you say, but they're poor. Well, yes, they're poor, but there's a lot of poor people in America, a lot of poor people in Africa, a lot of poor people in China and Vietnam that are very happy and would never rob, steal, or kill.
That's true.
So it's
That is
not
true.
the poor that makes them steal or kill. It's the love of money. It's the lust for more than what they have.
The temptations. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, Joseph. Yeah, and to wrap around, it really is all about the character right? One saying that I came across, one of the business owners in VCCH, he told me that, you know what's more valuable than money?
What?
Knowledge. I know that sounds a little
yeah.
corny, but
No,
no, it
it's
really
true.
is true. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the more you know, right? The money will flow. And this is, I'm not sure if this is a Buddhist saying, but I learned that
The more you know, the money will flow.
the more you know, the money will flow. And
It's true, though.
It's true.
It is true, 100%.
Right now, the biggest money makers, I don't know if you guys notice, but on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, is financial tips.
Really?
Financial information, Joseph. How to do a down payment on a house, how to
Sign me up.
how to save money. And we could really do that. We can make a class to
Yeah.
educate people.
Yeah, we
but
should.
Not because of money, but to educate people on how
Yeah.
to make money, right? And that's the biggest thing. The more knowledge you had, the more knowledge seeking you are. Of course, you might go into scams. You might go into not
Yeah.
the best places, but
Well, think about the people that create the scams. All the brain power and wisdom and craftiness it takes to create the scam.
That's true.
They could actually use that in a legitimate business that provides goods and services for people. The same energy. The same.
They can
you
use
know
that
what I
same
mean?
energy.
Yeah, use
That's
that
true.
same energy, that same craftiness, and use it towards a legal way to provide goods and services to help people,
Yeah.
and they would be wealthy.
Now, what do you think about
You
this,
know?
Joseph? Yeah, that's true. That is one. What do you think about this, Joseph? There are people that scam people, but then they use that money to donate to do good. What do you think about that? Like a Robin Hood, right? Like the young Robin Hood. They siphon money off of big businesses and give it to the poor. What do you think about that? I'm super curious.
Yeah, like a Robin Hood. Well, I mean, obviously, I
a
like
hard
the
one.
movie, but I don't think you should scare. I mean, like for example, some of these guys who are hackers and they hack pedophiles.
Yes, I heard
And they
about that.
catch them. I think that's great.
That's great.
That's
Yeah.
cool. To me, that's a great Robin Hood. But to actually steal from somebody who's worked hard, went to school, created a business, and to steal from them and give it to the poor, that's actually very ungodly.
That is
Because this person has applied themselves in a way, and through merit, they've earned a good living. And then just take that and give it to somebody who hasn't applied themselves is actually, very immoral. And the Bible talks about that too.
That's true. So-
Jesus came to one guy, he gave him 1 talent. Came to another guy, gave him 5. Another guy gave 10. The guy who had 10 invested it, made it into 100. And Jesus said, "Well done, my good faithful servant. Come into heaven." The guy who had 5, he traded it and he made 3 more. He didn't double it, but he made a little bit more. And Jesus said, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." But the guy who had 1 talent, he said, "Oh, I knew you were a very strict and very hard God, so I buried that talent, and now I'm going to give it back to you without any profit." And Jesus said, "Depart from me, you worker of iniquity, into eternal hellfire. And the 1 talent that he does have, I will give it to him that had 10 and multiplied it." So the moral and the godly way is to the person that produces, give them more to produce, because they
I
are
see.
producing, they're bringing value to the world. But the person who has time and talent, and I just want to say the greatest thing you have really is time. Everybody on earth has the same 24 hours. Everybody on planet Earth. God is fair. He has given everyone the same 24 hours. But while you're watching Netflix, somebody else is getting their degree. They're learning another language. They're reading a book on investments and how the stock market works and how to trade options. You both have 24 hours, but one is jagging off his 24 hours, and the other one is actually doing something productive. So, is it right? God said, "The one who is unproductive, take away what he has and give it to him that is more." It's opposite of Robin Hood.
I have a saying for that actually, and I remember I told you this before. I had a saying. I got this from one of these Instagram gurus and he said that procrastination is the assassination of all destination, and that is right there. That is the saying.
Let's applause that.
Yeah, that is right there. A great lesson.
Procrastination is the assassination
of destination.
Of destiny. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That is
I love
true.
it.
That is
I love
100%
it.
true.
Well, I am going to be going to Dallas tomorrow
Okay.
because we have an investors meeting on Thursday with Anthony. So I'll go home and pack.
Okay.
And everything, but I think we had a great show today. It took us a long time to set up. I'm glad that I have a partner to do this with, Stanley, our co-host, and we'll be having more and great shows in the future. I hope that you do get value out of this. Oh, we do have a question from Jose Castillo.
Jose Castillo.
Yeah, this guy's named Jose Castillo. He said, I am a new loan officer working at a brokerage. What are some pieces of advice you could have for me?
No way.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
So I'll let Stan go first, and then I will go and we'll answer Jose's question.
Okay, so really, be a sponge. I'm telling you this. You need a mentor as well. You're new into this industry. If you have a superior or someone that has more experience than you, it doesn't have to be necessarily a superior, a friend, a coworker, right? Be a sponge and learn. Hands-on training. You need to be in the field. You need to be out there. If you are not, then you're just going to be stuck there. You're going to be sitting there, just twiddling your thumbs, not knowing what are these terms, what to do, and you'll just be stuck. And you don't want to be stuck in this industry. You want to keep going. Because I remember saying that Joseph said that you eat what you hunt. And if you don't hunt, then you don't eat, right? So that is my advice to you, Jose. Keep that in your heart, your mind, because that is the type of business you are in.
Yeah, I think that is probably the best advice. You know, that is the best advice. I don't think I can add anything to it. That's great
that's
advice.
the best, yeah.
I mean, I would definitely
Appreciate
say
it,
go to open houses every weekend. At least do that. Go to open houses every weekend. Contact realtors in the area. But before you do that, make sure you're spending those 24 hours I talked about learning products, and you could learn the Fannie Mae guidelines. You could, just go online, get the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac guidelines, and just study the guidelines, learn the guidelines, understand well how to do a loan. So when you're talking to people, you're confident, you're knowledgeable. That'll go a long way as you're building your confidence, your knowledge, your networking, meeting people by going to open houses every weekend. You should be going Saturday and Sunday, maybe 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday at least, and do that for a couple of months until you start getting your leads. There's a ton of new realtors out there. Usually the old realtors are not there. It's always the new realtors, because old realtors, they don't want to do that. The new realtors have to earn their keep. They have to, earn their stripes. So the new realtors are there. They don't know any loan officers. Get out there and meet them, become their friend, partner with them, bring value to them, work hard. And after a few months, you'll build up a pipeline. I was number one. I was with Platinum One Lending. I don't know, 150 loan officers. I was number one. When I was with Nexa Mortgage, 2,000 loan officers, I was still one of the top 1% or top 2% with all of UWM. UWM is the biggest partner of them. I was top 2%. And I renewed my license, got back in the industry, and when the rates went from 3 to 7. That's when I started. 100,000 people resigned when I got my license approved, reapproved. Wow. And I just skyrocketed and did well. But I worked every weekend. I went to the open houses. I made friends with realtors. Something you could do is sponsor broker opens. When a realtor is going to open up a new house, they're going to list, they'll have a broker open to get other realtors to come look at the house. Bring some food in, bring some things, sponsor it. Ask if you could do a presentation at the realtor office. It's the best thing you could do. I tell this to everyone. Nobody does it. If you do it, you will have loans in your pipeline, 100%. It always works. So anyways, thank you, Jose. I hope that does help you. I gave you a couple of practical, go and do this. Stanley really gave you the mindset and the position you need to have. And I think that will make any loan officer successful.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, all right. Thank you, Jose. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Share the podcast if you got anything out of it. If you are in the Houston area and you are an investor, if you have invested, if you did a fix and flip, or you have rental properties and you want to share your story, share your wisdom, contact the show. We'd love to have you on. We are in Sugar Land, Texas, podcasting. Our offices in West Chase in the Houston city, inner city. So anyways, we appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for joining Fix or Flip at Castle Group.